Thank you for joining me today as we begin Unit 8 on the digestive system. So today we're going to start talking about specifically the alimentary canal. And so with this lesson, my goals for you, will be able to understand the importance of both mechanical and chemical digestion in the body. We're going to talk about this thing called the alimentary canal. You'll be able to identify and explain the function of the 4 layers of the alimentary canal. And we're going to talk about this term called peristalsis and how it pertains to our bodies. And so let's get started. So to start with, we have this term called digestion. So we talk about digestion a lot. I need to digest my food, so on and so forth. This is the breakdown of food, is digestion, into forms that the cell membranes can absorb. So into forms that cell membranes can absorb. And there's 2 types. There's mechanical and chemical both. So mechanical digestion, mechanical kind of being a physical digestion, breaks large pieces into smaller ones. So large pieces into smaller ones, but doesn't change their chemical composition. So without altering their chemical composition, really important. This takes place in the mouth. We have these structures called teeth, which we're going to look at more specifically later on, that do this, but would break large pieces into small pieces is called mechanical digestion. Just like breaking large objects into small objects in the world is called mechanical weathering or physical weathering, it's the same kind of thing. We also have chemical digestion. We talk chemical digestion, chemically breaks, should be a space there, breaks food into smaller chemicals. So now we're changing the chemical substances in our body. We're breaking them down chemically. And this is done in your stomach and intestines. And so moving forward, we have this thing called the alimentary canal. This is essentially your digestive tract. This is an opening that extends from your mouth down to your anus, and there's several organs that runs through and accessory structures that are used there, but goes from point of entry to point of exit. And so because this has an opening here in the mouth, here in your mouth and down here at your anus, basically what you can do theoretically is you could take this and you could flip a person inside out. And so because of that, we can consider something that's in this tube to be outside the body because there is no close off point that says, yes, this is inside. So theoretically, we could flip a person inside out and see what's inside their guts. And so that would still be considered outside the body because you didn't have to actually open them up. You had to rip them in half. But beside the point. So things can be considered outside the body because there's no closed off starting and ending point. Okay, here's a look at your digestive system, your alimentary canal. So this is a very extensive structure. It goes from your mouth, a point of entry, into your esophagus, which drains to your stomach. Your stomach then goes to your small intestine, which has some different pieces, one being the duodenum, one is the jejunum, and the other is the ileum. And at this point in this duodenum, we have our pancreas connect. So maybe you're familiar with the pancreas and insulin. So diabetics have a pancreas that doesn't secrete insulin or insulin insufficient situations. That's all done here at the pancreas. But anyway, food goes through your small intestine, the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum, ends at then enters your large intestine, where it's stored in your rectum and then leaves your anus. And so this is your alimentary canal condensed. And if you see this scale at the top, this is 150 centimeters-ish. So we're going to go 150, backwards is 300, 450, 600, 750, roughly 900 centimeters or 9 meters in length is your digestive tract, your alimentary canal. Okay, so this canal, again, 9 meters long. So very long, very extensive. It's got 4 layers to it. The innermost, the deepest layer is called the mucosa, or the mucous membrane. This protects your tissues underneath. So when you have all this food in there, this protects your tissues. It can secrete enzymes and mucus into the digestive tract and may make projections that increase your surface area for digestion. So it increases the surface area, which allows digestion to happen quicker. Outside of that, we have this thing called the submucosa. So beneath the mucosa, if we're going from inside out, this is connective tissue. Glands, blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, and nerves, all of those are there. This is connective tissue. So these vessels nourish tissues and carry away absorbed material. So as you're digesting things, it gets taken away in your submucosa and transported to the rest of the body. The next layer out is called the muscular layer. And so this is how food moves through your body. So this is the layer that is responsible for you being able to digest things. So this is responsible for movement through the digestive tract. Okay, and so this is what does the contracting and relaxing. This is what hurts when you have a stomach ache or can't pass things through your body. This is the layer that's responsible for taking care of that. And the last layer is called your serous layer. Serosa Serous. This is covering the outside, protecting your internal environment of the body, protecting the tube from the internal environment of the body. So this is again connective tissue. It's covered in this thing called peritoneum, and also creates a lubricant so that your organs and your gut can slide within your abdominal cavity. This is so that things can find the easiest location to pass through. So this allows movement of your intestines in your gut, in your body. So here's a look at your 4 layers. So you have this mucosal membrane on the inside, which protects your organs from the digestive enzymes and juices that are secreted. Outside of that is your submucosa, which again allows things to be taken, nutrients to be taken and transported elsewhere. Outside of that, your mucosa, so mucosa, submucosa. We have your muscular layer, a couple of different muscles there, and on the outside your serous, which provides a lubricant so that your body or your organs can slide within your gut and get to a point where they can move about freely and find the least resisted path to pass food. Here's a look at your mucosa. So these are these projections. These are called microvilli, which are composed of this simple columnar epithelium shown here. This is what actually absorbs those nutrients. But this is, again, just a look at your digestive tract and kind of what we're looking at here. So some movements, some things you need to be familiar with is this term peristalsis. Okay, so peristalsis is the propelling movements caused by a wave-like motion in the tube. So think of peristalsis as a wave-like contraction, wave-like motion is peristalsis. It helps food pass through the body. And it does this to do 2 things. 1, it's got to move food, and 2, it's got to mix the food together. Food and enzymes that are secreted into the digestive tract in order to be absorbed by our body. Your alimentary canal is controlled by, so this innervation means controlled by. So you have your parasympathetic innervation. So again, if we talk flight and flight, which we'll talk about later, we'll get to that. But this parasympathetic, this kind of calming down of the body. So fight would be your sympathetic. Fight or flight is sympathetic. And after you've evaded whatever danger you were in, your parasympathetic takes over. This is from the vagus nerve, which we'll get to later. But this controls your esophagus, your stomach, your pancreas, gallbladder, small intestine, and roughly half of your large intestine. This increases your digestive activity. So after you've ran from or gotten away from whatever is potentially harmful to you, your body needs to then resume digesting and replace the nutrients that were lost. And so this increases your digestive activity. Prior to that, again, your sympathetic innervation is from the thoracic nerves, adjacent to the specific area being innervated. So these cause a decrease in digestive activity. They are geared towards your body being able to run, being able to hide, being able to fight, whatever the result needs to be. That's what your sympathetic nervous system does. Okay, here's a visual on peristalsis. So you have this substance in your stomach. Contractions happen from top to bottom. And then we have this sphincter here. This closing opens up and allows food to pass through. And then you see this move farther down. You see the wave-like contraction. So it contracts at the top, contracts in the middle, contracts more towards the bottom, forcing food through the body. And so it does this wave-like contraction to move food the proper direction so it doesn't go backwards, which would not go well for us. Okay, this is your introduction to the digestive system. I would like you to answer these 10 questions. Be sure you are at least familiar with some of them. When you come to class, let me know any questions you have in the meantime, and I look forward to exploring the rest of this unit with you. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.